Please confirm that you're able to see the screen. My screen is reading forecasting and time series analysis. Forecasting and time series analysis. Wherever you are, I hope you have a quiet place where you're going to attend your lecture. Forecasting and time series analysis. Let us confirm in the chat we are able to see the screen. We begin. Guys, are we there? Screen visible. All right. So we are beginning on forecasting. We have just done network analysis. I hope you're practicing on the drawing of the network and also looking at different questions and the resources I have shared on your student account. I have shared a number of videos. Please go there and look at what I've done, some of the numbers I have done on network analysis. So forecasting and time series is another one. And in this one, we are simply looking at the process of predicting future performances. The process of predicting future performances by looking at the current performance. You know, today we have prophets. I think some of you, where you go on Sunday, you could be having a pastor who is a prophet. He can tell you, you know, next year you're going to get married. Next year you're going to get twins. Next year you're going to, you know, for me, my prophet told me that when this year was starting, he indicated I would be the governor of Bank of Uganda. It was a prophecy. So, you know, we don't have a governor, so I'm also there waiting. Maybe my CV, they are still looking at it. So that is a forecast, you know, that next year, Innocent, you are the governor. It's that kind of thing. Even without experience, I'm believing that I'm going to be the governor. So you guys, you're here, you're with me, but tomorrow I might be the governor. You get that kind of thing? So that is one way of forecasting, telling somebody's future. But we are not prophesying. We are not here to prophesy. Here we are going to look at the exact techniques that we can use to prophesy performance by looking at the current performance. So I can say that the sales in 2028, okay, if the current sales are maybe 2 billion, I can predict that in 2028, we shall have around maybe 10 billion in sales. Isn't that a prophecy? Maybe, but that is what we call forecasting. So some of you will be sharing with me in the chat there, some of the prophecies that people, what we have told you, we can share and see exactly how the future looks. So as a manager, you don't just have to sit in your office and let things happen. You can predict, okay? You try to predict, okay? And see what's going to happen in the future. If things are moving this way, what's going to happen tomorrow? Okay? So what are some of the techniques? The techniques are divided into two. I don't know which one my prophet used, but here we have two of them. We have the quantitative technique and the qualitative. The quantitative techniques include the simple average method, the weighted average method, the moving average method, the least squares method, and the exponential smoothing method. So the question is, are we supposed to know all of these? Yes, of course. We are supposed to know, and the examiner expects us to be up to speed if we face any of these. Now, these methods use past data. Now, I don't know what my pastor used to prophesy that I'll be the governor, maybe because our family has been producing very powerful people, commissioners, governors, pastors. So maybe, you never know. That is a technique. The quantitative techniques use past what? Past data. So you can also look at yourself and see in your family, maybe you are now maybe you are the one they are looking at after your CPA. So don't let people down. You know, some of you, they are looking at you. You're going to be very powerful in the family because you have done what? You have done CPA. So someone may prophesy and say, you know, you're going to be this, but what is the nature of the technique? So we are saying that you can do that by looking at past data. So if I'm saying that the sales in 2028 are going to be 10 billion, I must be basing on something. Maybe I'm looking at the trend, you know, I'm looking at the trend and how the performance in sales has been happening. And I'm very sure that in 2028, we shall be able to make 10 billion. And that's where the planning begins. That's where the decision-making starts, because you're a manager in the company. And you must make decisions basing on what is happening right now. So these methods, we must demonstrate in the exam that we are able to manipulate data to be able to predict our future. Besides that, we have what we call the qualitative techniques, okay? And these are basically three. You don't have to worry about these. As long as you can read about them and write something about them, everything will be okay. So we have the Delphi method of forecasting, a qualitative one, the market research method, a qualitative one, and the historical analog. It doesn't mean that there are no numbers. There could be some numbers, but these techniques do not use statistical inference. They don't use statistical models, but they simply use data. In most cases, data is scant or scarce, and yeah, we based on assumptions. Okay, so it is only actually this. I think this is the one that these prophets use, because it is just someone says, "I'm gifted. I can tell you what's going to happen to you. So I have a gift." So there are those people, they're experts, they can use assumptions, and they say, okay, if the sales in 2024 are 5 billion, we believe that in 2028, if all factors may be constant at whatever, following these assumptions, we believe that in 2028, we shall be able to derive 10 billion. So that would be some kind of forecasting. All right, so we are going to break it down technique by technique. I begin with a simple and weighted average method. Now, for the simple average method, as the word goes, it is a simple one. If I want, for instance, let me give you an example here. Let me give you an example. Okay. Let's use, I don't know that I have one that is ready. All right. I think I have some space there. Okay. Simple average method. How does it work? It works on the averages. The word is average. Simple average. Just get an average. It refers to the method of averaging periodic data. It gives the same weight to each periodic data. However, it is inappropriate in terms of inflation. It may not really help you so much, because in such situations, recent data should be given more weight to adjust for those oscillations in data. Okay, let's take an example. Assuming that we have cells, I'll call this one our example number 1. Okay, so here I have the year and the cells in millions. All right, 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020. So maybe sales of 2023, let's say we made 500 million. 2022, we had 430. 2021, we had maybe 670. 2020, maybe we did performed poorly, 150. So we are required forecast the sales of 2024 using simple average method. You see that? So what are we having here? We are having the sales of the last 4 years. Okay, that's the past data. So simple average method is saying, don't waste a lot of your time, just get the average. So forecast of 2024 is going to be 500 million plus 430 million plus 670 million plus 150 million divided by 4 years. So how much is that? How much is that? Anybody with a calculator? Share with me the answer in the chat. Okay, in the chat I have 437. Oh, what's happening? I'm having 437.5. So it means that using this method, we are able to tell that in 2024, the sales will be 437.5. And the meaning of that is that we can budget around that, we can plan around that, we can debate around that. At least we have something that can guide our decision-making process. It is not good for you to do things without clearly defining your future. That's why for me, when the new year is ending, I go to my prophet, as I told you, I tell him to prophesy. Try to prophesy for me because I want to see how is my 2024. Am I going to be the governor? Am I going to be, what's going to happen to me? Is that kind of thing? So don't just enter the new year just like that. You don't know what's going to happen to you. Just go to a prophet. You look at the future. Even in the business, it happens that you don't just sit in office as the manager, as the CEO, as the MD, without looking at the future. Okay, that is simple average method. Let us look at the weighted average method. Now we have added the word weighted. Okay, but it is still the same. It is an improvement of the simple average method. And in this one, we attach weights. Okay, we attach weights. And what are these weights? The weights signal the importance of that data. Weights signal the importance of that data. Because the examiner may just ask you, why do we do the weighting? What's the importance of the weighting? So the weights indicate how important that past data is. Okay, let us redo our example number 1 so that you see the difference. So I'm calling this one example number 2. And what are we having? we are having the sales of ABC, Uganda Limited. 2023, 20, okay, 2022, 2021, 2020. So these are sales in millions. Then we shall have another column for the weights. Usually these weights are given in percentage. Okay, so we still have our 500 million there. We have our 430 right there. We have our 670 there. We have our 150, just like before. So we are saying that this 500 million, we can give it maybe 40% weight. This 2022, we can give it 20%. And then that is what, 60. And then we have the balance is okay. Let me give this one 20, and maybe this is also 20. No. Let me give this one 25 maybe percent. So this will be 15%. Isn't that 30, 40, 50? Wait. Do I have 100%? Yeah, I think I have 100%. So required forecast. Okay, forecast 2024 sales using the weighted average method. You see that kind of thing? Forecast 2024 sales using the weighted average method. So what you're going to do, you're going to find the 2024 forecast, 2024, which is going to be 500 into 0.4 plus 430 into 0.2 plus 670 into 0.25 plus 150 into 0.15. So I've converted the percentages into decimal divided by 4 years. So what's going to be the sales of 2024? I'm giving you 1 minute. You share with me in the chat. $97.5 million from JB. JB is giving us 97.5 million. Anybody who agrees with JB? Anybody to support JB? Anybody supporting JB? Sam, do you support JB? Patience? Do you support JB? Fred? Martha? Do you support JB? Peace? Rachel? Kokasi? It's not what Martha got. Give us yours. Give us yours, Martha. JB is independent unless it's your relative that he has to get the same answer. That is a clan member, so all of you in the clan must get the same answer. So if JB is not from your clan, give me yours. What your clan, you know? So 119. Is that kind of thing? 119 million. I think JB, you need to check your answer because I can see Asiku has confirmed that Faith has confirmed that. Martha has confirmed that. Peace has confirmed that. Enid has confirmed that. So, JB, you better check. Check your enemies are not on your side. Your enemies are fighting you very hard. You must fight back. Okay, your enemies, but we shall pray for you. 119. All right. Okay. Those are the two methods here. Next, we talk about the moving average method. The moving average method. The moving average method.